the Niners are really thin at defensive tackle. Armstead's back, but Kinlaw isn't back yet. And what else? Kevin Givens is out with a knee sprain. Hassan Ridgeway's out with a pec strain. Kerry Hyder has an ankle injury, may or may not play. Who's going to start at defensive tackle?
I was about to say, give me a list of people who actually are healthy, because all the injuries, it's like, who are they trotting out there?
I mean, they got T.Y. McGill. T.Y. McGill could start. I don't think you could start Charles Omenihu at defensive tackle against the Seahawks, because the Seahawks want to run the ball. And if you go light in your defensive front, they're going to take that as an invitation to run the ball.
Walker's coming back.
Yeah. So I think this is a big T.Y. McGill game.
It feels like that's the only option, right? That's the only option you're going to put down there. And then on rushing down, that's when you mix it up, and that's when you kick everyone inside and you just throw a bunch of stunts and blitzes. I think that's what we're going to have to do. That's what we're going to try to do. Even with the bumped leg from Kenneth Walker, because he was dealing with like an ankle sprain or whatever the hell they were saying. He's still a pretty fierce back, and big reason why they weren't looking so hot last week. You weren't able to run the ball with anyone. You didn't have him. I think they only ran the ball like 9 times tops. With Kenneth Walker, they're going like at least 15 times on top of the other backs that go behind him. It has to be T.Y. McGill. You have to put a big old stone boulder right there just to like keep the offensive line from moving these guys. And then it's like, all right, well, now we got to throw a Geno. And then, boom, you're playing into our hands. I mean, short week. The Seahawks definitely want to run the ball and like try to wear out the Niners defense, because they definitely weren't really like tired out too much against the Bucs. Whereas in Seattle, even though they're playing home, I'm pretty sure that they're kind of like drained out from like playing heavy press on offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is concerning. If T.Y. McGill and Eric Armstead are going to have to play like big games, like a lot of snaps, a lot of run defense, a lot of taking on double teams. It's exhausting. And I don't see who the backup is. I mean, they could call someone off the practice squad or something, but yeah, I mean, Seattle could try to do what Atlanta did. The Niners were banged up on their defensive line, and Atlanta was like, we're going to run the ball as many times as we can, and you're going to get tired. And they did. So I think a lot of people expect the Niners to kick Seattle's ass, and they might. But if they can't stop the run, if they get tired and Seattle can run the ball 5 yards of carry, it's going to be a really close game.
Yeah, early defensive arrival of enforcing your dominance is really going to be key in that game against Seattle, because the moment you let up just the first few drives where they can like run some nice long possessions and even score, then it's going to be like, okay, this looks like it's going to be an offensive game, and Purdy's going to have to really like show up almost again like he did for the Bucs. Those first early ones are going to be so key, because you saw it against the Bucs too. Well, actually, the offense scoring early made it help too, but the defense was pretty much holding stout against the Bucs running game. But it's not like the Bucs have a great running game. I know they got that good running back, but Seattle's more. Seattle, Pete Carroll, that's always been their thing. That's always been in Miami. That's not really their thing. Even with Jeff Wilson, I mean, I know he went off, but I'm pretty sure both of those running backs were hurt. Maybe this could be a case of the Miami game, because we don't know how much Walker's going to handle, how he's going to see coming back from his injury. But if he's even close to healthy, I know for one thing, he's a damn good running back that could easily gash like the Niners defense.
Well, when the Niners faced the Seahawks earlier this year and beat them 27-7, the Seahawks couldn't run the ball. And when we talked to Jimmy Ward yesterday, like, what do you want to do? It's like, it's the same story every week. We want to make them one-dimensional and put the game in Geno Smith's hands. I mean, if they do that, they win. They did that week 2. They won by a lot. Obviously, Seattle's going to try to not let that happen. They're going to try to press the issue on the ground. And if the Niners can't stop the run, they're going to run the ball 40 times. And it's going to come down to the very end. Or they'll lose, the Niners. So this is big. T.Y. McGill, I hope you're ready. Eric, I hope you're ready, because the Niners need you guys to play.
I have no other choice here.
You got to play a lot.
The only thing is, I wonder if they're just going to tell the linebackers is like, hey, line up like a yard closer, or be ready to like take that first couple steps to play the run, because we need that run fill like ASAP. I mean, we can't just wait on. It's not like the Seahawks are like, I don't know if they're like prominent play action teams, but I don't know if they're going to be doing that like early and often.
I just don't see why you would pass against the 49ers right now. I mean, their pass rush with Armstead and Omenihu and Bosa and Jackson, it's really good.
I mean, Geno Smith has been a much better player than week 2, and they do have 2 solid receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't work with Brady, but Brady was also inaccurate. Tua was also inaccurate.
Let's stick with the
Geno
Niners
Smith gonna
defense.
be accurate?
Huh?
Is Geno Smith going to be accurate? Because Brady wasn't accurate last week. Tua was definitely accurate 2 weeks ago. I mean, there are spots to pick when you're playing offense. When you're playing against the passing game as offense, that's going to be your identity against the Niners defense. It's just again like you're running the risk of like exposing your quarterback and getting that thing blown up immediately.
He's going to be under pressure. I mean, they don't have a great offensive line. And we've seen what the last two quarterbacks have looked like against the Niners defensive front. It's not good. Geno's not good. Tua's better than him. I mean, he's having a good year, but the Niners defensive line makes good quarterbacks look bad. So that's what I expect. If the game is in Geno Smith's hands, they're going to lose by a lot like they did week 2. If they can run the ball, they could win, or it'll come down to the very end. And I'm not sure that they won't run the ball because the Niners have like 2 defensive tackles on their roster right now. They could call up a third. But that's a problem.
Yeah, Pete Carroll might call the hit on. He might be like, hey, we know where they're weak at. Let's run it. And no quarterback like Russ is going to tell them nah because it's going to work.
I mean, it's what they want to do anyway. And now they have a green light to run it right up the middle. So that's a key factor.